jerseys are selling at a record clip right now. Liverpool is pocketing 20% of all merchandise sales that are going on, and currently the jersey, the kit, is predicted to become historic seller for Liverpool. And a kit, according to Liverpool, has historic implications and identity implications for Liverpool. And when we say that the kit has identity implications, that specifically means that everything going on with Nike then is a reflection on Liverpool's identity. And then me being a fan who has invested so much of my emotions and passions over the years, my identity is reflected in cheering for Liverpool as well. The Australian Strategic Policy Institute estimated that 80,000 Uighurs from 2017 to 2019 have been shifted into service jobs and factory work through various parts scattered all over China. One of these factories unfortunately falls under Nike. And so it was estimated in a report by the Washington Post in February of this year that this factory employed 700 Uighur individuals approximately, and the factory conditions were reported to be similar to a prison with all the hallmarks, with surveillance cameras, barbed wire, dedicated police force, et cetera, et cetera. And specifically, it really hit home for me when Liverpool, which is a club that I follow very passionately, signed on and formed a union with Nike earlier this year for about $40 million a year. And essentially, we fell under this Nike umbrella. And because of the outrage that I had and heard about this exploitation of Uighur labor by Nike, I felt that Liverpool should have a say in this exploitation and persecution that's going on. To see Liverpool being apathetic or essentially apolitical in this process is disturbing because we have seen a precedent that when it's economically convenient or politically convenient, Premier League teams, specifically Liverpool, are taking a stance. We're seeing the Black Lives Matter patch that's on the jerseys. We're seeing players participating in kneeling. So they are conscious of some things, but I don't think you can be selective in your outrage. You cannot compartmentalize social injustices or human rights abuses. If you are indignant about one, you should be indignant about all. And though it was good and great that Mesut Ozil took this stance, unfortunately, he's become a footballer that, despite his extraordinary talents, has become more of a marginal talent. He's not a frontline talent as much as he used to be. Though it was commendable for him to make that stance and be vocal about it, my disappointment was that once he introduced that rhetoric into the global conversation, into the Premier League football conversation, I felt that other leagues, other players maybe would take that as a license to maybe enter the conversation as well. And those individuals specifically being more prominent Muslim footballers like Paul Pogba for Manchester United, Sadio Mane, and more importantly, Mohamed Salah, who has just become a complete Muslim sensation when he hit the scene in Liverpool in the 2017-2018 season. In Salah, you have an individual who publicly performs a sujood, prostrates after every goal, and is unapologetic about his Muslim identity both on and off the field. And he has this hyphenated identity as well as Arab, Muslim, North African, who has embraced this role. He specifically has said that I understand what this means, I understand the implications, and I get it. And he's been vocal about issues such as women's rights in the Muslim world. And more importantly, Time 100 put him on their cover of one of the most influential individuals in 2019. And it's unprecedented for a footballer to land on the cover of a magazine like Time. He has the talent, and I feel he has the global following that even if he was to make such comments, Liverpool would not be able to distance themselves from him because he's such an integral part of their front line. Jurgen Klopp, someone who politically allies himself with the left and says he would never vote for anybody on the right, has invoked this in many specific instances as well. So this just adds to that disappointment that when you advertise yourself to be something larger than football, but again, you're quiet conveniently. It's a double standard and more painful.